Hey guys, welcome to the Wolf Den Workshop. I was just at Harbor Freight and I picked up one of these Zurich R15S meters or OBD 2-port scanners. It was a little expensive. I used the 15% discount they had today, and with tax it ended up being $270. I decided just to spring for this one because it can do ABS flushes and retract your electronic parking brake and some other features that I could foresee needing in the future. So I just sprung for the little more pricey one. I have just a basic $20 code reader, but the problem I'm having is with my ABS system, and the $20 ones just don't read those codes. I plugged in, I read the code, right front wheel speed sensor circuit. What I'm guessing is there may be a loose connection or something, because about a year ago I changed out that wheel bearing, and directly after doing that I got a code thrown, but it was intermittent. So I think I'm gonna go just put a new one in. I think it's gonna be my best option, but I'll have more to follow. All right, guys, we're back at the house, the shop. I'm gonna do a quick change out on this wheel speed sensor. We could have tested this and gotten to the root of the issue without buying the meter, but you know, my baby's born a few days ago. I just don't have time to be screwing around troubleshooting sensors and stuff. So, you know, I suspected this was the issue. I just wanted to get the meter confirmed. We have a torque. Okay. Okay. I forgot I'm actually going to have to get this brake caliper off. Caliper. Okay. It's a little more of a hassle than I figured. Okay. Alright. I'm going to have to go get my 1/2-inch drive socket. And we got a hanger so I can hang my caliper. Alright, I also grabbed a brake pad across the way. And I normally use a seat clamp. Full brakes, but it's just taking it off. I don't think I'll need to press it too much. Maybe not at all. What is this, 18? Alright, these caliper bolts are at 18 mil. They're good and tight, because these, I torque these to make sure I get them right. I have to look up the torque. Might impose that into the video for you, because you really need to know. Alright, I got these bolts broken loose now. I'm just using the socket to get them out by hand. So the sensor kind of lives up under this rotor. So that's why we're taking this caliper off, so we can yank this rotor off. If these rotors I did last year, so I don't think they're going to be stuck on there too bad. Also, when I put them on, I brushed up the plate and I put anti-seize on everything. For when this situation arose, it'd be pretty easy to deal with. So if you haven't done that in the past, put anti-seize on them or clean them up any, they can be difficult. Pretty difficult to get off. Okay. And if you're having trouble getting them off, you really just have to beat them with a double hammer. That'd be my recommendation. Got kind of loose here. So on your caliper, you have your brake line. You need to make sure you're not dropping your caliper onto it, because you can damage that. And you don't want to be in that position. Okay, I'm not changing the brakes, so I'm not fucking with the pads or anything. And I also don't want to be in the way of my repair here. I'm going to hang it off of this suspension spring, and I'll just shoot around that. Okay, now what I can do is just pull this out. Then here's my wheel bearing. That's when I had to go bad on my car. So let's see if this looks like the right piece that they gave me. Here's the sensor. It's actually on there with an Allen wrench socket. Let's see. Yeah, that's looking like the right piece. It's got some connections and stuff. Okay, I'm gonna go get some Allen keys. Alright, if you're following along, it's a 5mm Allen key for this bolt. Okay. And then this little sensor just pulls right out. Looks like it's covered in schmoo. I'm going to clean up this a little bit. I think that might have just been some a little bit of dielectric grease I had on there. Okay, and there's a little O-ring on here to help
keep the water out. Okay. I'm just going to clean up in there to make sure I don't have any of this shit causing issues. Okay, yeah, good bit of grease in there. Because when I did the wheel bearing, I didn't replace the sensor. But right after I did the wheel bearing, I took it in to have a alignment, and then that's the first time I had the error code ABS sensor issue. And then it never came up again, so wasn't too worried about it. Alright, this came with some fresh grease. I'm just going to put a tiny little bit on here where there's this O-ring and where this goes into the housing. Just help seal it up. I'm not sure that's required. Mostly just trying to get it on that O-ring, because that'll help, definitely help seal that up. Got my 5mm Allen bolt head back. We're going to use the German torque spec there, good and tight. We're going to call that good. And then I'll put that Allen key away so I don't lose strength of it. And I'm just going to work my way up following this, just to make sure I have everything in the same, or good enough, the same orientation. Because this is probably engineered so you don't have issues with the, when you're turning, you don't want any of your steering or braking components putting this line up. So just try to match it, because these clips fit into spots certain ways. Like that one clips in. Okay. This next one looks like it's going to pull out, and it's got kind of a Christmas tree type plug, as they call them. And just making sure I match everything, tit for tat. Okay. And then up here, this one also has another Christmas tree type connector, so I got to get this connection off first. And let's see how that goes. There's a little tab on the back. Looks like you push down. Yeah, looks like it gets pushed down. And then this, yep, that was it. Okay, I always have a lot of trouble with these electrical connections. Sometimes that's what I find to be the hardest part. Okay, I brought some mass airflow sensor cleaner out here to be able to clean that, but it looks really clean in there, and I don't see any moisture buildup or anything in here, no corrosion of any kind. So I feel pretty good about that. Okay, and that slides on. So that's why I'm gonna put a little bit of this grease around the outside of this connector, just so you have to change it in the future. It's gonna be a lot easier to do with some dielectric grease on there. I mean, it's not mission critical. We're just looking out for ourselves in the future. Okay, then I'm going to clip these back together, make sure it's seated all the way. Okay, and then that little clip piece in the back is pushed up, so I'm pretty sure that's a pretty tactile fit. And then I'm going to put that back into that mounting bracket. Okay, and that's it. I'm going to get the torque wrench and look up these torque specs, and I'll let you all know that. Just if you're following along and do it right. Alright guys, on this one, I looked up the torque spec, I got the torque wrench. We're at 129 foot-pounds. I've had this issue when I was helping someone in the past where I had to look up the torque specs on a thing like this. This is cars, I wasn't too worried about it. Like, you go find the spec, and we were doing the slide pins. We broke a slide pin because it gave me the caliper mounting bolt spec. So when you're looking at it, just be careful. You got caliper frame mounting or mounting bolt or frame bolt, and that's going to be different than your slide pin spec. Pretty big difference, because these are some pretty big bolts, pretty beefy bolts, but your slide pins are nowhere near. So just be careful with that. That's your fair warning. And if you mess that up, there's not much I can do for you. It's never fun when you're trying to do an easy, supposedly easy project, and now you're trying to do bolt extraction and crap. It can really ruin a 15-minute project like this. Okay. So hopefully I can fit the brake calipers on without expanding the brake. I think I might be able to. We'll give that a shot and see if we can get it slid into place. Now I'm gonna have to expand that just a touch. So to do that, I'm gonna have to take this counter pad out of place. And I'll have to put it back in at the end. Okay. Oh yeah, this one has, I think these fucking finger pins. Actually, this thing's slid on the bottom, so I think it might work now. Oh, there we go. Alrighty. Pay attention, I think it's different on some vehicles, but like on this one, your mount on your knuckle, on your steering knuckle, goes through and then it threads into the caliper itself. So, just got that started a few times, and I'll get the bottom one. Oops, actually didn't have that threaded in enough. guys, sometimes it's just a little hassle to get all this shit lined up. Okay. I gotta make that. I didn't have the rotor seated all the way. Just kind of throwing my angle of my bolts out of whack a little. Okay, yeah, now we're going good. One thing you can do is put these little screws in to hold the rotor to the wheel bearing. Not necessary, but in this case, it would help us prevent some of this spilling around. Okay, make sure you're not cross-threading anything. These should all go in, relatively smoothly by hand. Okay, then I got my torque wrench set to 129 foot-pounds for the Haynes manual. So make sure, using the wrong torque spec. 129, pretty good now, wait. See, you don't want to be jerky on it, nice, slow and smooth. It's going to be hard in like this orientation. Okay. That's good. It all looks good. Got the brake caliper on, got the rotor back on. Just got to put the tire on. I normally torque those down too because I don't ever trust the torque wrench. I'll use that, get them started, get them back on all the way. But then my final, I'll lower it, torque it up. But thanks for watching, everyone. If you have a similar issue, I certainly recommend getting a scanner that can do your ABS fault codes. Because as I was researching, this ABS Stabilitrak system in GM vehicles interfaces with a lot of different sensors. Obviously, if you have a check engine light for engine knocking, inconsistent battery voltage, any of those things alone could cause an automatic shut off of those features. But then we also have the throttle position sensor, the steering wheel position sensor, all four of your wheel speed sensors. So there's a lot of sensors, lots of moving parts. It isn't something where I just try to guess and test, because you could end up burning a lot of parts that you don't need to, or multiple things could be wrong, and it'd just be a nightmare. So, do some sort of testing. I think it would have made sense to potentially put a multimeter on here, spin it, and see if we were getting some sort of readings or not. But like I said, I'm just kind of in a rush, trying to have a low involvement to get this squared away.
Alright guys, I just wanted to show, I'm not making stuff up. Oof. That refresh cycle is not looking good, but I did have the ABS lights on, my traction control lights, and then my readout down here was saying service, traction control, and Stabilitrak. So our fix worked. I'm excited about that. I do think this meter was a good call. A little pricey. Retails at $300, but it does do a lot of stuff. And I wasn't sure how complicated my situation would be, but if I did have to read that ABS live data, like your steering wheel position, the actual readings on those sensors, this is the meter you'd want. So that's why I bought this one, anticipating I might need to do some further diagnostic than just reading the trouble code. So here, some of these cheaper meters, in this instance, probably would have done the day, saved the day here. This ZR4S might have done it, but I was anticipating a little more trouble. One issue I did notice, I researched. They have a QR code in the store you can scan to see what tests work on your vehicle with this and whatnot. One thing it said this did not work with my vehicle was the reset for the steering wheel position sensor. So if I did have that issue, I would have had to take it to someone, which sucks. But luckily, we got it resolved, and now we have a meter. I bet if I took it to a shop, it probably would have cost about my $300 I spent to resolve this. But now I'm set up for the next time. Alright everyone, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe if you enjoy the content.